Hello everybody, June here. Over the last several months, I've noticed that there is a pretty glaring gap in my wardrobe, and that is clothing that is appropriate to wear to job interviews. Also, over the last several months, I have been on the job market. I have been looking for work, and this is something that's quite important if you're looking for work to have something to wear to interviews. So, I've been doing a lot of research about what kinds of patterns are there that are appropriate to wear to job interviews. And I've mentioned this before, but over the last several years, I want to say since probably the pandemic started, I have been wearing dresses and not really pants. And so I have been honing in on dress patterns that are appropriate to wear to job interviews. And I thought that I would share some of them with you. So for this video, I am going to show you 10 dress patterns that are perfect to wear to job interviews. And I feel like in the sewing community, this is a little bit hard to get because a lot of the things that people want to sew are fun things, and also a lot of the patterns tend to be either on the casual side or maybe on the party side, but not really on the formal side unless you subscribe to something like Burda, in which case they always have a lot of office wear. But I think office wear and what you wear to an interview is a little bit different. So for this video, I'm going to concentrate on dress patterns that I think are appropriate for the job interview. And there are 10 of them. Let's have a look. The first pattern is the Emery dress from Christine Hayes. And this is a classic fit and flare with a fitted bodice and a gathered skirt at the waist. You can have either 3/4 sleeves or short sleeves. And I think this view here is the one that is especially appropriate for job interviews. It is a classic vintage look, which I love, but it's not overtly so. It doesn't scream I'm in costume. It doesn't scream, pinup. It's just sort of a nod to the 60s. And I would personally go with the 3/4. Well, it's not actually quite 3/4, but it's just below elbow length sleeve. That would be my favorite. And then, of course, even though the other options do have a bow at the waist, I would forgo the bow for a job interview. And the sizing on this pattern is pretty inclusive. It goes from a 32 bust to a 56-inch bust, and it has inseam pockets that are actually attached to the waist for stability. If your dresses have pockets that are not attached to the waist or just attached to the side seam, that does not make for a stable pocket, and I would personally stay away from that. I have a lot of feelings about dresses in pockets, and I think this particular pattern does the pockets right. The next pattern is and I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher this, Alia shirt dress from Marsha Style. Marsha Style is not a pattern company that I see a lot of, but this particular dress I think is kind of perfect for a job interview. And I am thinking specifically about this version, the shirt dress with the long sleeves and the fabric belt. I would not wear this with flip-flops, but if you put some heels with this, I think it's perfect for a not quite so formal job interview, but still put together enough. I would again do view C, which is a dress in here, and I will leave the front pockets off, which is what they have done with the model here. It is a slight drop shoulder, which is a little bit easier to fit. It does look a little bit more casual, but I think everything else is formal enough that would be fine for a job interview. Again, the bust is pretty inclusive. It goes from 31 inches to 59 inches. This is, however, drafted for someone who is 5'7", so quite tall, and that is something to keep in mind, especially if you are short like me. The next pattern is a 1940s wrap dress from Sew Over It, and I will give you a heads up. There are 3 Sew Over It patterns in this list because I think they do this kind of pattern really well. This particular pattern is vintage inspired, as in the name implies, 1940s, and it is a woven wrap dress with A-line skirt, and it is a pretty classic look. You can have either short or 3/4 sleeves. Again, I would go for the 3/4 for a job interview, and I would make it in black probably, although I think maybe a dark navy would also work. This is, however, it comes in a rather small range of sizes. It only comes from a 33 bust to a 45-inch bust. So that's something to keep in mind if you have to size up, you have to kind of know how to do a full bust adjustment. But in this kind of bodices, it's really not that difficult, and especially since it's gathering at the waist, so it's doable. The next pattern is a Georgie dress from Sew Over It. This is a knit dress and it has a surplus bodice, meaning it is crossed. This is not actually a true wrap dress. It is just a bodice with an A-line skirt attached for a very classic look. And you can have either short sleeves, long sleeves, or 3/4. For this particular one, I think I do like the longer sleeve look. And again, fit and flare. And this time the bust is a bit more inclusive. It goes from size 31 inches to 57 inches. The next pattern and the last one from Sew Over It is a Lois dress. This is a little bit similar to the previous pattern, except that instead of a flare skirt, it has more of a straight skirt. The bodice has some pleats here, as you can see at the waist, and it does have a collar, which makes it a little bit more formal than the previous one. As well as the cuffs on the sleeves. The sleeves do also come in 2 lengths, and to make things more comfortable without taking away from the professional look, it does have an elasticated back sew at the waist, so you can have a normal sort of flat front and then an elastic back waist. And the skirt also comes in 2 lengths, and it does have slits at the side for a bit of extra movement, which you can see here because the skirt is kind of narrow. Unfortunately, again, like the first Sew Over It pattern that I talked about, it only comes in a 33-inch to 45-inch bust, so not terribly inclusive. Next up is Butterick 6871, and for this particular purpose that we're talking about today, I would choose views either B or C. And this is a high-waisted dress with princess seams and an A-line skirt. View B has a collar and 3/4-inch sleeve that you can see here, and view C has short sleeves and no collar. For a job interview, I think I will leave the buttons out. The buttons are not functional. This has a zipper. That's how you get in and out of this dress. My particular choice, I think, would be view B in a solid color. And the sizing for this is bust 29.5 to 48 inches over 2 separate pattern envelopes. So these are envelope patterns that you have to get separately, and I think they come in sizes 6 to 14 and then 14 to 22. So there's a little bit of overlap, but not much. This pattern does have different front pieces for different cups. There is an AB option, a C option, and a D option. So it would be quite easy or easier, I should say, to fit if you have a larger bust. And to me, cuff sizes are always a plus. Next up, we have the Lisol and Co. Rush Hour dress. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce that, but they are the adult version of the Oliver and S patterns. And this is a classic sheath dress with princess seams and Dior darts. And the Dior darts are these little darts you can see here at the bust and the princess seam. It is a line dress, and the bust sizes are only 32.5 inches to 46 inches, so not very inclusive either. But because they are princess seams, they're a lot easier to fit than if you just had darts or if you just had a wrap dress or something along those lines, especially with the Dior darts there. And you can also see in the back that it has a vent, which is very helpful when you are trying to walk in a sheath dress. The next pattern is the Berta Style number 130 from the February 2018 issue of the magazine. This is, however, a pattern you can buy standalone. You don't have to have a subscription to the magazine. So you can see here it's $8.99. And this is a pattern in their plus size range. And so the busts are from 39.25 to 48 inches. Again, not very inclusive, and it really only comes in 4 sizes. So size 44, 46, 48, 50, and 52. But it is in the plus size range, not in the main section of the magazine with the quote-unquote straight sizes. This is a sheath dress with a bateau neckline. It has 3/4 length sleeves with knotted details at the hem of the sleeves that I think is very cute. You can see it here. And aside from the detail at the hem of the sleeves, everything else is very tailored. You can see pleats at the waist. It has darts at the side, so again, easy to fit. And of course, a zipper at the back, and then little walking pleats at the back on the skirt, which again is very helpful when trying to walk in a kind of slim skirt. I absolutely love this dress, and if I was going to a job interview, I think this would be the one that I would make for myself. The next pattern is also a Berta style pattern. This is style 122 from the October 2020 issue of the magazine. Again, this is also in the plus range, so bust 39.25 to 48 inches. This is a true wrap dress, and it does not have a waist seam, so the entire dress, front and back, so there's one back and two sides. Actually, I'm sorry, there are two backs and two sides. It's all cut in one piece, and then there are pleats and darts at the waist to give it a little bit of shape, and there's also a dart at the bust. And it does wrap with ribbon on the outside, and I can't see the inside here, but I'm going to assume that there's also a tie on the right hand side and the dress inside, so you can keep all the parts together. And it looks like it also has an elbow dart, which is fantastic to give it a little bit of shape. This is again long sleeves, as you can see here, and it is a more kind of flare style than the one we saw before. So if you're not into straight skirts, I think this would be also a fantastic option. The last pattern is Simplicity 9473. This is also a fit and flare style, as you can see here, and I think any of the views would be fine for a job interview. If you want to wear the little jacket, you could make it sleeveless, or you could make it, with the sleeves if you want to not wear the little jacket. There are two different necklines for the dresses. There's a V-neck, and then there's a more rounded neck. This does have princess seams, which makes fitting a lot easier. And the bust sizes for this are 29.5 to 48 inches, again, over two separate envelopes. And I think this would be also a favorite for me if I was to actually make interview clothing at this point, because I like the idea of a little jacket that I can put on to my dress. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if you found it informational, if you find it enjoyable, please go ahead and click the like button. It really helps the algorithm push this out to more people. And I would love to know what patterns, whether they're dress patterns or not, you think are appropriate to wear to job interviews. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.